In your health tonight on The Current, we're focusing on the emotional well-being of those who find this time of year hard to cope with. Now, if that resonates with you, you're probably not alone. So joining us today to talk about how we can improve those holiday blues is Dr. Vincent. Thanks for being here.
Very welcome. Nice to meet you.
So I want to start by first asking, can you explain a little bit about what the holiday blues are and what are some of the common causes of it?
Indeed. Well, it tends to be a fairly specific cluster. It has to do with being very busy and with lots of expectation. So, are you hosting? Are you going somewhere else? Who are you going to see? When are you going to see them? Who do you want to see? Who don't you want to see? Who's buying what? How much are you spending? What is your budget? Do you have time to do all of this? And are you doing it all on your own? And that's a common thing. People just overload with genuine commitments, but overloaded nonetheless, which can make people very stressed and therefore feel tired and kind of glum about the season where we should all be jolly. There is that image. Remember that it all should be perfect. It all should be wonderful, and most of it's down to you.
Definitely kind of an overwhelming time when you talk about all that and all the different things we have to do.
Indeed.
And this idea of being perfect and stuff. We were talking earlier, and remind me a little bit what we were talking about, differentiating some of those things.
Yes, in terms of, what you can do to counter it. When is it enough? When is it about somebody else and not just you doing everything? When do you ask for help? What limits do you put on yourself? When do you put it all down? When do you designate to other people? And, be firm with this, with those who can potentially help you. Another thing also is that the expectation, you can't run this for everybody. People have a good enough time most of the time.
What are some tips you have, talking about all of that and managing it? Just some tips for people on how they can de-stress and maybe delegate some of those things, but just not feel this need to be overwhelmed and be perfect.
Yes, and it is that. It could be a family culture, you could be buying into commercial culture of perfection. There really is no perfection, and most of us normal people don't have time for perfection. So again, dividing, planning in advance, reaching out to those who could be involved. Also remember, you can keep Christmas simple. It can be you, your immediate family at your home. You don't have to drive off to Tucson, Arizona to see Auntie Mildred.
What about those dealing with grief surrounding the holiday season?
Yes, so we have grief via loss, also we have recent divorce scenarios. So that leads into a sense of isolation, a sense of loss amplified by the notion of Christmas represents family and connectivity. What should those people do? Be with other people. It really is, that is the key there. Be with loved ones, be with friends, prioritize your time so you are there. Don't come late or leave early, and go to more than one place if possible. Go out and connect.
Yeah. Going off of that, for people who maybe can't travel to be with family or are working for the holidays, do you have any advice on ways that they can maybe still connect with people?
Well, ultimately it's still, Facebook, the telephone system, the visualization, any system like that. But when you do call, take your time. Don't rush. FaceTime and take your time. You can do it, call in the morning, call later on, call in the evening. You can call more than once. Take your time to engage.
Well, finally, if people feel that they're struggling with their mental health this time of year, what resources should they look for?
Indeed, and if it gets more consuming and dominates their life more and more, typically the best place to really is go and talk to the therapist types. You don't have to necessarily run to doctor to look for the latest medicine, because most people aren't necessarily at that level of distress. So accessing individual therapy, like at SouthPark Psychology, is always a good place to start. You may not be there a very long time because there isn't a lot needed, but the holidays are draining. A lot of people say how tired they are when it's all over. So it is a difficult time of year for some because of loss. It's a demanding time of year for many because of their perceived commitments.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's just nice to be able to talk to someone about all of that.
Indeed it is.
All right, Dr. Vincent, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.